last wonder of the ancient world, a monument so perfect, so colossal, that legends were woven around it. It was said to be built by giants, or visitors from the stars, or by the crushing might of 1,000,000 slaves. But the truth is far more human and far more impressive. To truly know that truth, you must live it. So come, travel back 4,500 years. You are not a slave. You are an Egyptian. And this is the greatest work of your life. The sun rises over the Nile, painting the river gold. You wake to the sound of your mother grinding grain in the courtyard, the rhythmic scrape of stone against stone, as familiar as your own heartbeat. Your name is Meni, and you are 23 years old. Your hands already bear the calluses of your tread. You are a stonemason, like your father before you, and his father before him. You rise from your reed mat, the packed earth floor cooled beneath your feet, despite the growing heat of the day. Through the small window of your mud brick home, you can see the great river, swollen with the annual flood. The fields lie beneath its nurturing waters, and this is the season when farmers become builders, when the rhythm of Egyptian life shifts from cultivation to construction. Your younger sister, Nebit, already sits in the doorway, working flax into thread. She glances up at you with knowing eyes. The dreams again. You've been having them for weeks, now dreams of white stone reaching toward the sky, dreams of something monumental, calling to you. You don't answer, but she sees it in your face. Everyone in the village has heard the rumors. The new pharaoh Khufume, he lived forever, has decreed the construction of something unprecedented. Not just another pyramid, but the pyramid, a monument to surpass all monuments, a bridge between earth and sky that will stand until the end of time itself. Your father, Amenhotep, enters from the workshop attached to your home. Stone dust clings to his kilt, and his arms bear the strength of 30 years working limestone and granite. Come, Meni, he says, his voice carrying the authority of a master craftsman.
Alright, so the first thing you want to do is head over to your YouTube account. Then you want to click on your profile icon in the top right, and then click on YouTube Studio. Once you're on your channel dashboard, what you want to do is click on Create and then go live. Now once you're on your live streaming dashboard, what you want to do is click on the Schedule Stream button and then create a new live stream. Once you're here, you want to type in a title, a description, and then set a time when you want the stream to start. Now once this is...
Your father says quietly, running his weathered hand along the smooth curve of Thoth's arm that you shaped yesterday. Not just the strength, but the sight. You see the God within the stone before you free him. This is no small praise from a man who speaks sparingly. You've spent years learning to read the grain of stone, to feel its weakness and strength, to know where it will yield and where it will resist. You've learned that limestone speaks one language, granite another, and sandstone yet another still. Each has its own song, its own rhythm. Your mother, Sataman, brings bread and beer for the morning meal. The bread is still warm from the oven, and the beer is thick and nutritious.
You want to stream to both
Nothing
Twitch
like
and
the thin
YouTube
drink
Swords
that will
at the
be
same
called
time
beer in distant
free?
centuries.
With
She watches you both
dual
work
output feature,
as she sets down the food.
One vertical and horizontal
Eat,
platform
she
at the same
commands.
time.
A craftsman without strength
Here's
is like
how
a
to do
boat without wind.
First, open
As you break
Streamlabs
bread with
desktop
your
and go to
family,
settings by
your uncle
clicking on the
Kenti
gear
arrives,
icon in the bottom left
his face
corner.
flushed with excitement.
Next, go to
They're
the video
coming,
tab and
he
click on
announces.
Enable Dual
The
Output.
royal and
Set
they're
both your
less
base
than an
canvas
hour's journey
resolution
from here.
and your output scaled resolution to
workshop falls
1920 by
silent. Your
1080
father
for the
sets down his
horizontal streaming
tools slowly,
platform. Then,
deliberately.
swap
Your
to the
mother's
vertical
hands
tab
pause
and
in
set
their
your base
constant motion.
canvas resolution
Even the
and your
leopard
output
stops her
scaled
spinning.
resolution
So it's
to
true then,
1080 by
your father
1920 for
says.
vertical ones like
It's not a
TikTok or
question.
YouTube.
The
Now,
men,
head to
Kenti
stream and add
confirms.
your first platform,
They
like
seek
YouTube or Twitch.
workers, skilled
Once
workers.
that's done, click Add
The
Destination,
proclamation
connect
says
the
the pharaoh
second
calls upon
platform,
the
like
strength and
TikTok.
devotion of Egypt
And that's
itself.
all it takes. Now,
You
can
feel
stream on
something
both
shift in your
platforms at once.
chest, like a door opening to a room you didn't know existed. The dreams suddenly make sense. This is what has been calling to you. Your father sees it in your eyes before you speak. You mean to go, he says. If they will have me, you reply. Your mother's face tightens, but she says nothing. She knows, as all Egyptian mothers know, that when the pharaoh calls, Egypt answers. This is not slavery, this is duty, honor, and something more. This is a chance to touch eternity. The entire village gathers in the central square. The royal envoy stands upon a raised platform. His fine linen kilt is stark contrast to the rougher cloth of the villagers. Yet there is no
Imagine being able to
bearing.
build an
He
app
looks
with
upon
your
the
name on
assembled
it,
crowd
just
with
by
respect,
thinking about it.
For he knows he
Meet
stands
Base
before the true strength
44,
of Egypt, its
a
craftsmen,
complete AI.
its farmers,
Hey guys,
its
it's Tech
builders.
right here. In today's
Behind
video,
him,
I'm going to teach you how to
scribes
multi-stream
hold
in
papyrus
2025.
scrolls, and
That is
soldiers
right.
stand
That way
at
you can actually
attention
stream to
not to
YouTube,
intimidate.
Twitch,
But to emphasize
Kick,
the
whatever
importance of this
platform you
moment,
want to,
the envoy
you can do it
raises his
absolutely
arms,
for free
and silence
without having
falls
to
like a
use
curtain.
Restream and paying money
People
for it.
of Dia
So I'm
del
sending you a
Medina,
couple
he
bucks if you
calls
enjoy
out,
that though. Make sure
his
to smash
voice
the like
carrying
button.
across the
But I
square.
thought we'd make it.
I bring word from the
today
good
there are
god
a lot of people
Khufu.
complaining on the
May
plugin
he
not
live
working
forever.
properly. So
The
I
great
thought this was
house
a perfect
has decreed
opportunity
the
to make an
construction of his
updated video
eternal
for
dwelling place,
2025.
a
Even though
pyramid that
it
shall
is
touch the very
the
belly
first thing
of
you want
Nut
to do is have
herself,
access to
the
OBS
sky
Studio.
goddess
We
who
want to make sure you have
swallows
the
the sun
latest
each
version
evening
of
and bursts at
OBS.
each
Right now I'm
dawn.
currently on
A murmur runs through the crowd.
30.2.3.
You
Of
stand
course,
with
you
your
are on
family,
this version on the
feeling
top
nibbits,
left. What you want to do
small
is make
hands
sure to
slip into
update.
yours.
You can do a few
This
different
is
things
not
by
a
going to
command of
OBS's
forced
website,
servitude.
or
The
you can
envoy
actually just click on the
continues.
help icon
And you
in
notice
OBS
how he
Studio
emphasizes
page,
these
which I will
words.
have the
The
link
pharaoh
down
calls
below.
upon the
Once
skilled
you're on this
hands
page
and
here,
willing
you
hearts
should
of his
see the
people.
OBS
Those who answer this call shall be
RTMP
you will receive
plugin
daily
for
rations
version
of bread, beer,
0.6.1.
onions,
Of
and
course,
garlic,
I will have a
meat
link to
and
this down
fish
below.
on
And we're just going to
festival
scroll
days.
down here
Your
until you
families will
see
receive a
the
portion of grain in
assets.
your
Now you can
absence,
see there's a
and those who
multi-stream
distinguish
asset
themselves
for
in this sacred
macros
work
universal.
shall receive
This
land
is for
grants
like Mac
upon the
OS,
pyramid's
and we
completion.
have the
The crowd
Windows
stirs
installer for
with
Windows, of
interest.
course. This is even for Windows
Now,
11,
these are
and then
not
we
the
have a
terms
Linux
offered to
installer.
slaves,
Since I
but
know
to
I'm
valued
on
workers.
actually
We seek
Windows, I'm going to click on
stonemasons
this one.
and
It's
quarry
going to make it
workers,
download.
the
We want to
envoy
install this
announces.
onto our computer,
His eyes
and that way it
scanning
goes
the
into
crowd.
OBS.
We seek
Now make
those who
sure
know the
once your
songs of
OBS is
copper
open,
and
just
bronze,
close it,
who
and
can
that
read
way
the will of
reopen
limestone
it.
and granite.
Once you
We seek
reopen it, you should
engineers
have
who
access
understand
to
the
actual
sacred
plugin
mathematics,
by going into the
carpenters
top
who can
left
shape
under
Lebanons,
docks.
mighty
You can
cedars,
see this
and physicians to
multi-output
tend to the
dock.
workers'
Once you
health.
open it, you can kind of just drag it
Your
wherever
father
you
steps
want
forward.
and place it into your OBS.
And what of the
I'm gonna place
danger?
it here for the
He
time
asks,
being. We can
his
move this
voice
around,
carrying the weight
and that
of
way we get
paternal
the plugin
concern.
installed. Now,
What
what I do plan to
provisions
do for
for
future
those who are
reference, so that
injured
way you
in
don't have
service
to
to the
worry about
pharaoh?
refining this again if they
The
do
envoy
update it,
nods
is I'm going to have the
respectfully.
current version
The
of
pharaoh has
OBS
decreed that a
download
village
in a
shall be built at
Dropbox
Giza
with
for
the
the
actual
workers,
plugin, so
with
that way you can
physicians
actually
and healing
download
priests
both of them
in
for the latest
residence.
version of OBS
Those
that
injured in
works,
the
and
sacred
also for
work
the
shall
plugin.
receive care.
That way you can just start
Those who
using
die
it
may
for
the
Windows.
gods,
I will have
prevented
also
shall
the
be
Linux
buried
and
with
Mac
honor in
OS
the
file
shadow
in
of the
there too,
pyramid
just in
itself.
case you are on
Their
those
names recorded
platforms,
for
you can do
eternity.
that. Now, before we start
A collective
multi-streaming,
gasp
we want to make sure to
runs
set
through
this
the
on up so
crowd.
we can
To
actually
be
go live
buried
to
near
different
the
platforms.
pharaoh's
So
pyramid.
keep in mind the settings we're
This is
using
an
for
honor
OBS
beyond
right now
imagining.
actually
This
go
is the
live
promise
to
of
my
an
Twitch.
afterlife,
So what I want to
blessed by
do is set the
proximity to
multi-stream
divinity
plugin
itself.
to stream to
The work
YouTube
begins
and
with
Kick.
the end of the
What we want to do
inundation.
is click
The
add a new
envoy
target.
continues.
We can name this
Those who
whatever
wish
we
to
want. I'm
serve
going to name
should
this
present
Kick for the
themselves
time
to the
being.
scribes.
And what we want to do is go to Kick and
Your
get our
skills will
URL
be
and stream
assessed.
key. So once you're on
Your
Kick's
names
homepage,
recorded.
all you
In
want to
7
do
days,
is go to the
boats
top
will
right
arrive to
icon
carry
for your
the chosen
profile picture,
workers north
go
to
to
Giza.
settings. In settings,
The
what we want to
formal
do is go to
proclamation
stream
ends,
key
and the crowd
URL.
disperses into
So we want to
excited
copy our
clusters.
URL,
Families
go
debate.
to OBS,
Young
paste
men
this on
boast
in
of
the
their
URL
strength,
spot, and
and the
go
village
back,
elders
grab
share
our stream
memories
key,
of their
and
own
copy
youth
this,
when they
and
helped to
place
build
this
monuments.
into our stream key
Now,
area.
ancient,
And that
you
way we
approach
have
the scribe's
our
table with your
actual stream
father,
set up for
the
our
chief
Kick.
scribe.
You can
An
modify
elderly
the
man
settings
with
to get really
intelligent
crazy
eyes
if you want
looks
to,
you
but
over.
I'm not going to mess with anything
name
for the
and
time being
trade.
and just
I
let you
am
use
Meni,
my default OBS
son of
settings.
Alman
Once we
Hilta.
have that, we click
I am
OK.
a stonemason.
And let's say now, for example, here
Your
you want
age,
to actually start
23
adding another
floods
platform. Of course,
of
you
the
can add
Nile.
in one
The
because
scribe makes notations on his book. Can you read the sacred measurements? Your father speaks for you. He can read numbers and perform calculations. I have taught him the sacred proportions. Show me your hands, the scribe commands. You extend your hands, palms up. The scribe examines the calluses, the small scars from years of chip strikes, the strength in your fingers. He nods approvingly. These are the hands of a true craftsman, not a field worker claiming false skill. You understand that this work will be harder than anything you have known. The stones of the pyramid will dwarf even the largest blocks you have moved in your village. I understand, you reply, though in truth, you cannot yet imagine the scale of what awaits you. Very well. Report to the river landing at dawn 7 days hence. Bring your tools if you have them, they will be marked with your name. The journey to Giza will take 4 days, by boat. He hands you a small clay token marked with hieroglyphs. This is your worker's seal. Guard it well. As you walk home, the token feels warm in your hand, as if it carries the heat of the destiny it represents. Your mother has tears in her eyes when you show it to her. They are tears of pride as much as sorrow. My son will build the eternal dwelling of a god, she whispers, touching the token reverently. That night, your family hosts a feast with what provisions they can spare. Uncle Kenty brings a goose, a luxury
You must have
reserved
seen
for
many
special
such channels on
occasions.
YouTube
Your
where
aunt
many live streams are running on
contributes
one channel
statewide.
at the
The
same
entire
time.
extended
Sometimes there are
family
5,
gathers.
sometimes 10,
and stories are
sometimes
told of
15.
ancestors who
And
worked
people
on the
must be thinking
pyramids
that
of
managing
Sneferu,
such live
Khufu's
streams is
father.
very
Your
difficult, but it is
grandfather,
not so.
ancient
You can manage
and
all
bent
this with
but still
just 1
sharp mind,
OBS. You can run
takes your
5,
face
10,
in his
15
papyrus
streams
tin
with just
hands.
1
You
OBS.
carry the
That
K
too
of our family
absolutely
with
free.
you,
So in
he
today's
says.
video, I'm going to
Build
tell you the
well,
complete
grandson.
method of how you can
Build
live
for
stream
all of
multiple
us.
videos
The
on
morning of
multiple
departure
channels
arrives
or a
with a
single
mist
channel
rising
with the
from the
help of
Nile.
just one OBS.
You stand at the river's
So
edge
let
with
me
nearly
show you.
40 other
Before
men
that,
from your
if you are
village
visiting the
and
channel
surrounding
for the
settlements.
first time,
Some,
then subscribe to the
like
Make
you,
Sure channel and
are
share
young
this
and
video
eager.
with your friends
Others
who
are
also
master
want to run
craftsmen
more
in their
than one
prime,
live stream on their
seeking the
YouTube
prestige and
channel.
rewards of
So
loyal
normally,
service.
if you open
A
your
few are older
OBS,
men,
then by
perhaps
default
taking
there's
one
no
last
such
great
feature
commission
here with the
before
help
age
of
claims
which you
their
can run
strength.
multiple
Your
live on
family
YouTube.
stands behind
For
you.
this, you have
Your
to
mother
come to this
presses a
website
small
and download
amulet
this
into your
plugin.
hand,
You
a
will find
jet
the link
PR
in the
symbol
description
of
below.
Osiris's spine,
You have to download and
representing
install this
stability
plugin.
and endurance. May
So
Osiris
double-click
protect
on
you,
it and this
she
plugin will
murmurs.
run with your
father
OBS.
grips your shoulder.
So
saying
first
nothing,
close OBS and
but his
install
eyes
this
speak
plugin
volumes.
inside OBS
Nebet
by
throws her arms
double-clicking.
around your waist,
Okay, so
and
it
you have
gets
to gently
installed
pry her
quickly.
away.
Click on
The boats
Next,
arrive as the
Next,
sun
Next, and it
burns
has
away
been
the mist.
installed.
They are not slave
So
galleys
first
with
close
chains and
OBS
whips,
and install
but
this
well-appointed
plugin
transport
inside
vessels with
OBS by
canopies for shade
double-clicking.
and space for men to
Okay,
move
so it
about.
gets
The
installed
boatmaster,
quickly. And
a
double-click
sun-weathered man named
For this, you have to
Kimwaset,
come to this
greets
website and
each worker
download
by
this
name
plugin.
as
You
they
will find
board.
the link in
Welcome,
the
Russ,
description below.
he calls
You
out.
have to
You
download
sail now,
no
not
such
as
feature
subjects,
here with the help
but
of
as the
which you can
chosen
run
hands of
multiple
Egypt.
live on YouTube.
The gods themselves
Normally,
watch
if you
our
open
journey.
your OBS,
You find a spot
then by
near the
default
prow.
there's no such
Your tool bag beside you.
feature
Inside are
here
your
with the
personal
help of
chisels,
which you can run multiple
inherited
live
from your
on
father.
YouTube.
Their
For
handles
this, you
worn
have to come to
smooth
this
by
website and
generations
download
of
this
hands.
plugin.
A young
You will
man
find
sits
the link
beside
in the
you.
description below.
Nervous energy
You have to
radiating from
download
him
and
like
install.
heat from sun-baked stone. I'm Thutmose, he says, from the village of Sawat. I work in the quarries there. Meni, you reply, stonemason, from Deir el-Medina. As the boat pushes off from the shore, you turn for one last look at your family. They stand there, growing smaller, your mother's white dress visible long after other details fade. Then a bend in the river takes them from view, and your old life officially ends. The journey north is a revelation. You have never traveled more than a day's walk from your village, and now the entire heart of Egypt unfolds before you. You pass temples that scrape the sky, their pillars painted in blues and golds that hurt to look upon in the direct sun. You see cities with populations that dwarf your entire district, their docks bustling with trade from lands you've only heard mentioned in stories. The boat stops each evening at designated waypoints. The crew prepares generous meals apparently. The good treatment begins immediately. You eat better on this journey than you often did at home. Fresh bread, beer, dried fish, onions, and garlic. On the second night, there's even beef, a meat you've tasted perhaps 3 times in your life. An older craftsman named Meni, whose arms bear the scars of decades, work in stone, sits with your group during meals. He has worked on royal projects before, though none of this scale. Let me tell you a truth.
All this
Young
plugin.
ones, he says.
So double-click
His voice
on it and
carrying
this
the authority
feature
of
here with the
experience.
help of which
What
you
we
can
go
run
to build
multiple
is
live
beyond
on YouTube.
comprehension. I helped complete the Red Pyramid for the pharaoh's father. I thought then I had seen the limits of human ambition, but the plans for Khufu's pyramid ... He shakes his head. They say it will reach 480 feet into the sky. Do you understand? Taller than 40 houses stacked upon each other. Thutmose laughs nervously. Surely you exaggerate, uncle. Amenemheb's eyes remain serious. If anything, I understate. But here's what you must understand. We do not go as slaves to die beneath the lash. We go as the select of Egypt. Every stone we place is a prayer. Every cut we make is an offering. We are not building a tomb. We are building a machine of eternal life for the god. Through him, all of Egypt achieves immortality. On the third night, you cannot sleep. You stand at the boat's edge, watching the stars reflected in the Nile's black water. The river here is wider than you've ever seen it, mighty and eternal. Another worker, a carpenter named Semaphore, joins you. Nervous, he asks. Excited, you reply, though it's both. My grandfather told me that to work on a pyramid is to have your your life force, joined forever with the pharaohs. That our spirits will help pull his solar bark through the underworld each night. Semaphore nods. My father said similar. He said that slaves build nothing that lasts, because they have no love for their work. But we ... we build with our hearts as much as our hands. That's why the pyramids are eternal. On the 4th day, as the sun reaches its zenith, someone shouts from the prow, "There, Giza!" You rush forward with the others, and your breath catches in your throat. Nothing, no story, no dream, no imagination could have prepared you for this moment. The Giza plateau rises from the desert like a mountain carved by the gods themselves. But it is not the natural limestone outcrop that steals your breath. It is what humans have begun to create upon it. The foundation of the pyramid spreads across the plateau like a geometric lake of white limestone, so vast that its far edges blur in the desert haze. The precision of it hurts your mind. Perfect right angles, stretching for nearly 1,000 feet on each side. Already, the first courses of stone are in place, and even these lower levels dwarf anything you've seen. But it's the activity that truly overwhelms. Thousands upon thousands of men move across the plateau like ants upon a hill. But these ants are organized into a divine machinery of purpose. Ramps of mud brick and rubble spiral up from the desert floor. Teams of men haul sledges bearing stone blocks that must weigh as much as your entire house. The sound reaches you across the water, rhythmic chanting, the ring of tools on stone, the creak of rope and wood, all blending into a symphony of creation. Gods of Egypt, Thutmose, breathes beside you. His face has gone pale. Now you understand, Amenemheb says quietly. We do not go to build a pyramid. We go to build the pyramid, the one that will stand when all others have returned to sand. As your boat approaches the harbor, you see that an entire city has sprouted in the pyramid's shadow. Not a ramshackle camp of tents and misery, but a planned settlement with straight streets and solid buildings. Smoke rises from what must be massive kitchens. The smell of baking bread reaches you, even here on the water. The docking area bustles with organized efficiency. Scribes with their papyrus and reed pens record every arrival. Overseers not with whips, but with measuring rods and building plans direct new arrivals to different areas. You see no chains, no guards with spears forcing men to work. Instead, you see purpose, organization, and something that looks remarkably like pride on the faces of the workers. A tall overseer with kind eyes approaches your group as you disembark. Welcome, brothers. I am Hemunu, chief of chiefs, architect of the eternal dwelling. Your group gasps. This is the pharaoh's own nephew, the master architect himself. Yet he greets you as brothers, not as slaves. You arrive at a glorious time, he continues. We have completed the foundation and the underground chambers. Now begins the true work, raising the pyramid to pierce the sky itself. Each of you will be assigned to a phyle, a work gang. You will live with your phyle, eat with your phyle, and together you will move mountains. He gestures toward the workers' village. Come, let me show you your new home. I think you will find it exceeds your expectations. The walk to the workers' village takes you past the main construction site. Up close, the massive limestone blocks are even more imposing. Each one is taller than you are, and you watch in amazement as a team of 30 men manages to slide one along a wooden track. Water bearers wetting the sand before the sledge to reduce friction. How? You ask aloud, unable to comprehend the feat. Hemunu smiles. Knowledge passed down from the ancients, improved with each generation. You will learn, young stonemason. You will learn things that will make you valuable for the rest of your life. The workers, Velishite El Garab, the wall of the crow, is a revelation. The main gate stands 20 feet high, solid limestone posts supporting massive wooden doors. Guards are posted, but Hemunu explains they are there to protect the workers and supplies from desert raiders, not to keep workers in. No one is held here against their will, he states clearly. Any man who wishes to leave may do so, but few do. You'll understand why. Inside, the village astounds you. Paved streets run in a grid pattern. Mud brick buildings, properly plastered and whitewashed, stand in neat rows. There are separate quarters for different types of workers, one area for masons, another for carpenters, another for copper workers. The sleeping quarters are long galleries with raised platforms for sleeping, keeping you off the ground and away from scorpions and snakes. Each man has a space for his possessions, and red mats are provided for comfort. Windows allow for air circulation, crucial in the desert heat. For men to a room, Hemunu explains. You'll be grouped with your phyle brothers. You work together, live together, become family. But it's the support facilities that truly amaze you. The bakery complex is massive, dozens of ovens arranged in rows, with bakers already at work. The smell of fresh bread is constant, comforting. Hemunu shows you the brewery next door, where beer, that staple of Egyptian deities, produced in quantities that boggle your mind. Each worker receives a daily ration, he explains, leading you to a distribution area where supplies are being handed out. 10 loaves of bread and 2 jugs of beer, without fail. On every 10th day, a feast day, you receive meat, beef, fish, or fowl along with vegetables and fruit. No man who builds the eternal dwelling of the pharaoh goes hungry. A worker passing by overhears and laughs good-naturedly. He understates it, brothers. The food here is better than what I ate in my village. My wife won't recognize me when I return. I'll be fat as a nobleman. The medical facilities make you stop and wonder. A proper building with multiple rooms, where physician priests tend to injured workers. You see a man having a cut on his arm cleaned and bandaged with honey and linen. Another lies on a bed, while a physician carefully sets what appears to be a broken bone. Every injury is treated, Meni says, with pride. The pharaoh knows that a healthy worker is a productive worker. But more than that, you are not slaves to be used and discarded. You are Apis, building for Egypt. An elderly physician named Amonhotepe. We treat everything from cuts and breaks to scorpion stings and heat exhaustion. We have medicines from across the kingdom. I have personally saved over 100 lives in my 3 years here. And those who don't survive, you ask hesitantly. Meni's face grows sullen. Come, I will show you something that will answer all your remaining doubts. He leads your group to the edge of the village, where the desert begins. There, spread across several acres, is a cemetery, but not a patch of unmarked graves, proper necropolis with mud brick mastabas and carved stele. Every worker who dies in service to the pyramid is buried here. Meni says quietly. Their names are recorded, their graves marked. They rest in the shadow of the pyramid for eternity. When the pharaoh makes his journey through the underworld each night, these faithful workers journey with him. Tell me, would slaves be granted such honor? An older worker named Kemhiset, who has been listening, steps forward. My brother died here last year, he says. A stone shifted unexpectedly. It was quick. We mourned him, but we also celebrated him. He was mummified not elaborately like a noble, but properly, with prayers and rituals. His tomb, he points to a well-mud mastaba, is there. I visit him each rest day. His children will know where their father lies. His name will be remembered. What slave can say the same? As the sun sets on your first day at Giza, you sit with your newly assigned Phili brothers in the common area. Your team is called the Friends of Khufu, a name that fills you with pride. There are 20 of you in total, mostly masons and stone movers, led by a genial foreman named Maruka, who has been here since the foundation was laid. Tomorrow, you begin to understand what we truly do here, Maruka says, passing around a jug of beer. It will be the hardest work of your life, but also the most meaningful. We are not just stacking stones, brothers. We are building a ladder to the heavens. We are creating something that will outlast the very hills. That night, you lie on your reed mat, listening to the desert wind and the distant sound of night shift workers. The amulet your mother gave you rests against your chest. You think of your family, already missing them, but you also feel something new, a sense of being part of something infinitely larger than yourself. You are not a slave. You are a pyramid builder, and tomorrow, the real work begins. The sound that wakes you will become as familiar as your own harbita dumbbell, rung by the timekeeper, echoing across the workers' village. It's still dark, the stars visible through your window, but already the village stirs to life. You've been here a week now, long enough for the routine to feel less foreign but not yet natural. You rise from your mat, your muscles protesting. The first days were agony muscles you didn't know existed screamed with each movement. But Maruka, your foreman, assured you this was normal. The pyramid makes you stronger, he said, or it breaks you. But you, young Meni, you will not break. I see it in your eyes. Your Phili brothers rise around you. There's Thutmose, who came on the boat with you, already becoming a close friend. Beside him, Senbi, a quarryman from the south, with arms like tree trunks, and a laugh that shakes the walls. And Ipuki Baliati, whose skill with numbers has made him invaluable for calculating angles and loads. You dress quickly in your work kilt, tie the leather protector around your waist, a gift from a senior mason who said it would save your skin from the worst of the rope. Burns and grab your tools. Your personal chisels are wrapped in leather, carefully maintained. In this place, your tools are extensions of your ka, your life force. The breakfast hall buzzes with hundreds of conversations. You file through the serving area, receiving your morning ration. Fresh bread still warm from the ovens, a portion of preserved fish, onions, and the ever-present beer. Not the weak beer of later ages, but a thick, nutritious drink that serves as both food and refreshment. You sit with your Phili, and Maruka goes over the day's work. We're moving blocks for the 4th course today, he announces. The blocks from Tura arrived yesterday, fine white limestone for the outer casing. Each weighs about 2.5 tons. Senbi whistles low. The ones we moved yesterday were heavy enough. Those were core blocks, Maruka explains patiently. Rough limestone from the local quarry. These casing stones must be perfect smooth as water, fitted so precisely that a knife blade cannot slip between them. This is where our masons, he nods to you and to others, prove their worth. As you walk to the construction site, the sun rises, painting the pyramid in shades of gold and pink. Even incomplete, it dominates the landscape. The first 3 courses are complete. each slightly smaller than the last, creating the beginning of the pyramid slope. Ramps of mud brick and limestone chips spiral up from multiple directions, allowing access to the working platform. Your Phili section is on the north face. Already, crews are at work on all sides. The sound is overwhelming at first, thousands of men shouting, singing, coordinating their efforts. Sledges scrape against wood and stone. Foremen call out rhythms. Waterbearers chant as they run their routes. Your first task is to help position a casing stone. The rough block has already been hauled up. The ramp that was yesterday's brutal work. Now it must be precisely carved and positioned. This is where your skills matter. You run your hands over the stone, feeling its grain, understanding its nature. This limestone from Tura is different from what you worked in your village finer. Wider, almost luminous. You mark the cutting lines with red ochre, checking and rechecking the measurements. The margin for error is the width of a hair. Ready? Asked Snacked, the senior mason overseeing your work. You nod and begin. The copper chisel rings against the stone, each strike deliberate and precise. Chips fly, but never too large that would indicate a lack of control. You work steadily, sweat already beading despite the morning cool. Beside you, another mason works the adjacent edge. Your strikes must complement each other, creating perfectly flat surfaces that will meet seamlessly. Hours pass. The sun climbs higher. Your arms at you, but you don't stop. This is the meditation of masonry, the zone where time ceases to exist. There is only you, the tool, and the stone. You're dimly aware of the water-bearer passing, and you drink without really stopping work, the motion automatic. Hold! Nacht calls. You step back, and he examines your work with a straight edge and a critical eye. A long moment passes. Then he nods. Good. Very good. You have the touch, young one. Now comes the truly dangerous part, positioning the stone. Your entire Phili works together for this. Wooden levers are placed at strategic points. Ropes are attached. Maruka takes command, his voice cutting through the ambient noise. On my count. 1. 2. Pull. 20 men pull as one. The stone shifts slightly. Again. 1. 2. Pull. Inch by inch, the massive block moves into position. You and the other masons check alignment constantly. Too far and it must be pulled back. Back-breaking work. But Maruka is experienced, and the stone slides into place with barely a finger's width to spare. Now, for the finest work. You and your fellow mason must dress the exposed face and the joints, ensuring perfect alignment with the neighboring stones. You work with bronze tools now, harder than copper, saved for the finishing work. The sound change is a higher, cleaner ring. A shadow falls over you. You look up to see Hemino himself, the master architect, observing your work. Your hand trembles slightly, but you continue. He watches for several minutes, then speaks. What is your name, craftsman? Meni, Lord, from Diara Medina. You have been well taught, Meni. This joint, he runs his finger along the seam between stones, is excellent. In 1,000 years, it will still be perfect. He turns to Maruka. Mark this one for advanced training. We need such precision for the burial chamber. Your Phili brothers slap your back in celebration as Heminu moves on. To be noticed by the master architect, this is an honor that will follow you home. 3 months have passed. Your body has transformed muscle, replacing what little fat you carried, your hands now capable of wielding hammer and chisel for hours without cramping. You've been selected for specialized training, and today, you journey to the Tura quarries across the river to learn the art of extracting the fine limestone used for the pyramid's outer casing. The quarries are a world unto themselves. Carved into the eastern cliffs, they stretch for miles, their galleries reaching deep into the earth like the roots of some impossible tree. The master quarryman, a man named Kemaset, whose family has worked these stones for 6 generations, meets your training group at the entrance. Forget what you know of stone. He begins with our preamble. Tura limestone is the flesh of the gods themselves. It must be coaxed, not conquered. Force will shatter it. Patience will free it perfectly. He leads you deep into the galleries. Oil lamps provide flickering light, casting dancing shadows on walls carved with impossible precision. The temperature drops, and the air carries the distinct smell of ancient stone, cool, mineral, somehow alive. Here Kumwasa stops at a rock face marked with red grid lines. We have identified a block for extraction. Tell me, young masons, how would you free it? One of your companions, eager to impress, speaks quickly. Cut channels around it with copper chisels, then drive wedges to split it free. Kemoset nods slowly. That would work, if you wanted to spend 3 weeks on one block and risk fracturing it. Watch and learn the old way, the right way. He demonstrates the technique that will consume your next weeks of training. First, channels are cut along the top and sides but not with random strikes. Each chisel blow follows the stone's natural grain, working with it rather than against it. The rhythm is almost musical, a steady tap-tap-tap that echoes through the gallery. You must listen to the stone, Kimwaset says, his weathered hand against the rock face. It will tell you where it wants to break. The grain, the tiny fishes, invisible to the untrained eye, these are your map. Next comes a revelation that changes your understanding of the possible. Instead of metal wedges, Kimwaset produces wooden ones, dry and seemingly fragile. Wood, Thutmose asks incredulously. To split stone. The master quarryman smiles. Wood and water, young one, the power of none, the primordial waters from which all creation emerged. He demonstrates, driving the wooden wedges into the cut channels with precise taps. Then, water is poured over them. Now we wait, he says. The wood swells, slowly, evenly, with more force than 100 men. By tomorrow, the stone will have surrendered. While you wait, he teaches you to read the stone's character. Tura limestone has layers, like the flooding of the Nile written in rock. Some layers are harder, some softer. A skilled quarryman can see these variations and plan cuts accordingly. Look here, he points to what seems like uniform white stone. But as your eyes adjust, guided by his expertise, you begin to see its subtle variations in color and texture. This darker band, barely visible, it's harder. Your chizo will skate across it, unless you adjust your angle. You spend days learning to see what was always there, but hidden to untrained eyes. Your respect for these quarrymen grows exponentially. They are not mere laborers, but artists reading a language written before humans walked the earth. The next morning, Kimwaset leads you back to the demonstration block. The wooden wedges have swollen, and a clean crack runs through the stone exactly where intended, with bronze levers. The block is freed tons of limestone separated from the mother rock, as cleanly as if cut by the gods themselves. Now comes the delicate part, Kimwaset announces. The first dressing. This is where your mason skills merge with quarry knowledge. The extracted block must be roughly shaped here in the quarry, excess weight removed before transport, but carefully, so as not to damage what will become the finished surface. You work with newfound confidence, your chisel singing against the stone. Each strike removes exactly what you intend, no more, no less. The block slowly transforms from a rough extraction to something approaching its final form. Good, Kamaset approves. You understand that we are not fighting the stone, we are partnering with it, revealing what it wishes to become. During your weeks at Tura, you witness the full cycle of extraction. Teams of workers, organized with military precision, extract dozens of blocks daily. Each one is marked with hieroglyphs to date, the team responsible, and its intended position in the pyramid. Nothing is left to chance. One evening, as you sit outside the quarry barracks, watching the sun set over the Nile, Kimwaset joins you. He's been doing this for 30 years. And his body shows its scars from stone chips, fingers bent from countless hammer strikes, but his eyes remain bright with purpose. Do you know why we do this? He asks. Not for gold, though the pay is good. Not for glory, though our names will be remembered. We do it because we are part of something eternal. Every block we cut, every surface we smooth, is a prayer made solid. He points across the river where the pyramid rises in the distance. Slaves build nothing beautiful, because beauty requires love. Look at that monument, and tell me it was built without love. You cannot. Even from Era, the pyramid seems to glow with an inner light, the setting sun turning its white casing stones to gold. It is beautiful, impossible, perfect. You return from Tura to find the plateau in unprecedented activity. A massive granite block has arrived from Aswan, destined for the king's chamber. It's one of dozens that will form the ceiling, each weighing close to 50 tons. Your entire filly, along with 3 others, nearly 80 men, will be needed to move it. Maruka gathers everyone before dawn. Today, brothers, we perform a feat that will be spoken of for generations. This stone traveled 800 miles down the Nile. Now we must raise it 60 feet, and position it with the precision of a jeweler setting a gem. The block sits on a reinforced wooden sledge, massive cedar logs from Lebanon forming its base. Ropes as thick as your arm are attached at multiple points. But what strikes you most is the path that has been prepared, a ramp of perfect gradient. Its surface covered with wooden planking to reduce friction. The angle must be exact, explains Jedifa, the chief engineer. Too steep and will never move it. Too shallow in the ramp would need to extend beyond the plateau itself. You take your position on one of the ropes. Sembi's beside you, his massive frame reassuring. Thutmose is 2 men ahead. Ipuki stands to the side with the water bearers, ready to wet the planks at the precise moment. A drummer begins a beat, slow and steady. This is not for entertainment but for coordination. 80 men must pull as one, or the effort fails. Ready? Maruka calls out on the beat, 1, 2, 3. Pull. The rope burns against your palms despite the leather wrappings. For a moment, nothing happens. The block seems rooted to the earth. Then, almost imperceptibly, it shifts. Again, 1, 2, 3. Pull. A groan, whether from the wood or the man, you cannot tell. The block moves perhaps a hand's breadth. Water the path, Maruka commands. Ipuki and the water bearers dash forward, pouring water on the planks just ahead of the sledge. The water reduces friction dramatically, an ancient technique that still seems like magic. 1, 2, 3. Pull. This time, the block slides forward a full foot. A cheer goes up, quickly suppressed. This is just the beginning. The work continues for hours. Pull, advance, rest. Pull, advance, rest. The drum never stops. Songs emerge spontaneously. Word chants that help coordinate effort and lift spirits. We are the arms of Khufu. We are the strength of Egypt. The stone obeys our will. The pyramid rises through our might. At the steepest part of the ramp, disaster nearly strikes. One of the ropes begins to fray. You see it happening, strands snapping under the immense tension. Stop! Someone screams. Maruka reacts instantly. Emergency braces. Now, wooden beams are thrust under the sledge, preventing it from sliding backward. The frayed rope is quickly replaced, but the incident reminds everyone of the constant danger. A 50-ton block, rolling backward, would crush a dozen men before anyone could escape. By midday, you've reached the working platform. But the challenge isn't over. The block must now be moved laterally to its position and somehow raise the final few feet to sit atop the walls already in place. This is where you witness engineering genius that will be lost to later ages. A series of levers, each one an entire tree trunk, are positioned around the block. Counterweight smaller, stones are attached to the far ends. It's a multiplication of force that would make Archimedes proud, though he won't be born for 2,000 years. Lever teams. Ready? Jadafar commands. Lift on my mark. 20 men on each lever. 4 levers total. You're on the second lever, your hands gripping the smooth wood. Lift. The sensation is extraordinary. The massive granite block, which seemed immovable, rises slowly but steadily. Wooden supports are quickly inserted beneath it. The levers reset, lifted again. Inch by inch, the block rises to its final height. Now comes your moment. As one of the selected masons, you must guide the final positioning. The block must align perfectly with its neighbors, the joints so tight that they become nearly invisible. You and 3 other masons use bronze bars to make micro-adjustments, calling out measurements to the lever teams. 2 fingers left. Now back a thumb's width. Hold. The precision required is absurd. This massive block must be positioned within tolerances that even small decorative pieces in your village would unrequire. Yet somehow, through patience and skill, it's achieved. As the sun sets, the block settles into its final position with a grinding sound that seems to come from the earth itself. A perfect fit. The joints are so tight, you cannot insert a piece of papyrus between them. The celebration that night is epic. Extra rations of beer are distributed. Someone produces a drum, another a flute. Songs are sung about the day's achievement, and you realize these songs will become part of the oral history, passed down through generations of workers. 6 months have passed since your arrival. The pyramid has grown to 15 courses, and the ramps have been rebuilt and extended multiple times. You've been promoted to assistant foreman of your file, recognition of your skill and dedication. Your body has become a tool of its own, hands that can feel imperfections invisible to the eye, arms that can work stone for hours without fatigue, eyes that can judge angles and alignments instinctively. Today, you're working on something special, preparing stones for what will become the Grand Gallery, the magnificent corridor leading to the king's chamber. These aren't just structural stones, but architectural art. Each one cut to precise angles that will create a corbelled ceiling of breathtaking beauty. The work requires a different mindset. You're not just building, you're creating something that will inspire awe in anyone who sees it, even thousands of years in the future. Each stone must be perfect, not just functionally, but aesthetically. The pharaoh will walk this path on his journey to the stars, reminds Meni, the master architect overseeing this section. Every surface he passes must be worthy of a god. You work with limestone so fine, it's almost translucent, bringing out a natural luster with patient polishing. The technique involves sand and water, rubbed endlessly with harder stones, until the surface becomes mirrored. Your hands cramp from the repetitive motion, but you don't stop. This is meditation, prayer, and craft combined into one action. Working beside you is a young man named Tahotep, an artist-mason, whose skill with decorative carving exceeds even yours. He is inscribing hieroglyphs that will never be seen once the pyramid is sealed. Prayers for the pharaoh is journeyed through the afterlife. Why carve what no living eye will see? You ask him during a water break. He smiles. The gods will see, the pharaoh's will see, and we will know it's there. Sometimes the invisible work is the most important. This philosophy permeates the entire project. You've seen men spend days perfecting joints that will be buried deep inside the pyramid's core. It's not about human recognition, but about participating in something sacred. The danger increases as the pyramid rises. The ramps become steeper, the drops more deadly. Yesterday, a man from another phylum fell from the 8th course. He survived, but with a shattered leg that will never properly heal. The physicians did their best, and he'll be compensated, given easier work in the village. But it's a reminder of the price of immortality. Not all the challenges come from stone and gravity. As the pyramid rises, competition between the phylums intensifies. There's pride at stake, but also practical rewards. The team that moves the most blocks in a month receives extra rations and a day of rest. More importantly, they earn recognition, their names inscribed on the pyramid's foundation blocks. Your main rivals are the followers of the powerful White Crown, a phylum from the Delta region. Their foreman Nibaman is a giant of a man who claims his team can outwork any southern few. The rivalry is mostly good-natured, but there's an edge to it. Southern farmers playing at construction? Nibaman taunts one morning as your teams prepare for the day's work. In the Delta, we were building monuments when you were still learning to stack mud bricks. Maruka, ever diplomatic, Simpus, we'll let our work speak, brother. A competition develops organically. Both teams are assigned to move similar blocks from the same quarry area to the same course of the pyramid. It becomes a race, though officially no one acknowledges it. Your team develops a new technique, suggested by young Apuki. Instead of pulling the sledge directly, you use a pulley system, running the ropes through bronze rings anchored to the ramp. It multiplies your force and, more importantly, allows for better coordination. The followers notice and try to adapt their own version, but they haven't practiced with it. Their first attempt sees the rope slip from the ring, and their block slides back several feet before the emergency braces catch it. Steady wins this race. Maruka reminds your team, no injuries, no mistakes, just consistent, perfect work. For 3 days, the competition continues. Your teams are neck and neck, matching each other block for block. The entire plateau watches, even Himunu taking notice of the increased productivity. On the 4th day, disaster nearly strikes. One of Nibamun's younger workers, eager to prove himself, doesn't properly secure a rope before a pull. It snaps, free striking him across the chest and sending him tumbling. He falls 15 feet, landing hard on the stone below. All rivalry instantly vanishes. Your team rushes to help. You're among the first to reach Himaboy really, perhaps 17, gasping for breath, with blood trickling from his mouth. The physicians arrive quickly, but their faces are grave. Internal injuries, they murmur. They carry him gently to the medical house. That evening, Nibuman approaches your team's area. The swagger is gone, replaced by genuine gratitude. Your men ... They didn't hesitate to help. Dad boy, Amenemhab. He's my nephew, my sister's son. We're all brothers here, Maruka responds. The pyramid doesn't care where we're from. The boy survives, though he'll be sent home to recover. The incident bonds the two phylums. The competition continues. But now it's truly good-natured, each team cheering the other's successes. A week later, when the monthly tallies are counted, your team has moved more blocks by a margin of 3. But at the celebration, you share your extra rations with Nebaman's team. The gesture is noted by the overseers and adds to your growing reputation. It happens on an ordinary day, during ordinary work. You're helping position a casing stone, the kind of task you've done hundreds of times. The stone is on wooden rollers, being maneuvered into position. Kenti, one of the older workers in Yafili, is guiding the far corner. Then the roller cracks. It happens so fast that no one can react. The stone tilts, its massive weight shifting suddenly. Kenti tries to jump clear, but the stone catches his leg, crushing it against the platform with a sound that will haunt your dreams. His scream cuts through all other noise on the plateau. Work stops across the entire site. You and others rush to him, but the stone is too heavy, too precariously balanced. Moving it wrong could cause it to shift further, completely crushing him. Laveras Maruka shouts. Carefully, carefully. It takes agonizing minutes to free him. His leg is destroyed, bent at an impossible angle, bone visible through torn skin. He's conscious, his face gray with shock and pain. You hold his hand as the physicians arrive, feeling it grip yours with desperate strength. Will I walk? He gasps. The chief physician, examining the leg, meets his eyes honestly. No, brother, but you will live. They carry him to the medical house. You learn later that the leg had to be removed below the knee to save his life. The damage was too severe, infection certain otherwise. The physicians are skilled, using sharp bronze knives and wine to clean the wound. They save his life. But his work on the pyramid is over. 3 days later, Kenti asks to see you and Marie. He's weak, but alert, the stump of his leg wrapped in honey-soaked linen. I need to know, he says. What happens to me now? A cripple can't work stone. Will I be cast out? Sent home in shame. Maruka grips his shoulder. You gave your body in service to the eternal dwelling. You will not be abandoned. There's work in the village record keeping, tool maintenance, teaching the young workers. You'll receive rations until you're healed, then let her work with appropriate pay. And when my time comes, Kenti asks, quietly, you'll be buried here, with full honors. As a builder of the Great Pyramid, Maruka assures him, your sacrifice is noted in the official records. This is the truth of it, you realize. The pyramid demands sacrifice, but those who give it are not discarded like broken tools. They're honored, cared for, remembered. It's the difference between slaves and citizens, between forced labor and chosen service. A month later, you see Kenti, in the village, working as a scribe's assistant, recording material deliveries. He's fashioned a crutch and moves with surprising agility. He greets you warmly, seemingly at peace with his fate. I gave my leg to build eternity, he says with a wry smile. How many men can say that? But not all endings are so fortunate. It happens during the placement of a massive granite beam for the king's chamber. The beam, weighing nearly 70 tons, is being raised by a complex system of ramps and levers. You're not directly involved, working on a different section, but you hear the commotion shouts of alarm, then a terrible crash. The beam has slipped, not far, perhaps 2 feet, but that's enough. An older meson named Amenhotep, a master craftsman, who'd been carefully guiding the beam's placement, was caught beneath it. There was no scream. The weight was too great, the end too quick. Work stops across the entire pyramid. This isn't an injury but a death, and it must be properly observed. That evening, the entire workers' village gathers. Amenhotep's body, cleaned and wrapped in linen, lies on a platform. The Sem-priest performs the rituals, the same ones performed for any Egyptian of standing. Incense burns. Prayers are chanted. His name is spoken aloud by hundreds of voices, ensuring his ka will not be forgotten. Hemunu himself speaks. Amenhotep gave his life in the most sacred work of our age. He did not die as a slave, but as a craftsman, an artist, a builder of eternity. His body will rest here, in the shadow of his greatest work, and when the pharaoh journeys to the stars, Amenhotep's ka will be among his eternal workforce, building palaces in the field of reeds. The next day you're selected as one of the workers to help prepare Amenhotep's tomb. It's in the workers' cemetery. But this is no hasty burial. You help construct a small but proper mastaba, laying mud bricks in careful courses. Other workers carve a stela with his name and titles: Amenhotep, Master Mason, Builder of the Eternal Dwelling of Khufu. The embalmers have done their work. Not the elaborate 70-day process reserved for nobility, but proper mummification nonetheless. His body is dried with natron, wrapped in linen, protected with amulets. A mask of cartonnage linen, stiffened with plaster and painted, covers his face, showing him as he was in life but perfected eternal. You help carry his body to the tomb. The procession is impressive, hundreds of workers following, many carrying offerings. Small items, mostly bread, beer jugs, tools he used in life that will serve him in death. But the accumulated offerings fill the small tomb chamber. His widow has come from their village, her cries of grief piercing the desert air. But there's pride, too, in her bearing. Her husband didn't die in obscurity. He died building the greatest monument ever conceived, and he'll rest forever in its shadow. As his body is placed in the tomb, Maruka speaks quietly to your group. Look around you, young ones. See these tombs stretching across the plateau? Each one contains a free Egyptian who chose this work, who gave their strength and sometimes their lives to build eternity. Would slaves be buried thus? Would their names be carved in stone? Would their widows receive compensation, and their children be proud of their sacrifice? The Sem-priest performs the opening of the mouth ceremony, ensuring Amenhotepska can eat and drink in the afterlife. Then the tomb is sealed, but not permanently. Family members can visit, bring additional offerings, speak to the deceased. As you walk back to the village, Thutmose walks beside you, unusually quiet. Finally, he speaks. When I came here, I thought I was just earning good wages, gaining skills. But it's more than that, isn't it? You nod. We're writing ourselves into eternity. Every stone we place, every life given, becomes part of something that will outlast the mountains themselves. That night, the stories begin. Workers who knew Amenhotep share memories. His skill at redding stone grain, his patience teaching younger workers, the joke he always told about a crocodile and a tax collector. These stories will be told and retold, keeping his memory alive in the oral tradition of the workers. One of the older workers, Kemiset, speaks up. I've been here 8 years. I've seen 12 men die in that time. 12 out of thousands. Yes, it's dangerous work, but in my village, I've seen more die from crocodile attacks, from disease, from famine when the inundation fails. Here, we die with purpose. We die building something that matters. And we're remembered, adds another. My grandfather worked on Sneferu's pyramid. He died when a rope snapped, fell from the 5th course. But his tomb is there still, at Dosher. My family visits it. His name is known. He's not forgotten dust, but an eternal builder. The conversation continues late into the night, lubricated by extra rations of beer, distributed to honor Amenhotep's memory. You learn that there is an informal fund among the workers. Everyone contributes a small portion of their wages. When someone dies, this fund helps pay for their mummification and tomb construction. We take care of our own. Maruka explains. The pharaoh provides. Yes, but we also provide for each other. That's what makes us builders, not slaves. We choose to be here, and we choose to support each other. 3 years have passed since you first arrived at Giza. You're no longer the uncertain, young mason from a small village. Your body has been sculpted by the work, lean, powerful, scarred from countless small injuries, but stronger than you ever imagined possible. Your hands can read stone like a scribe reads papyrus. Your eye can judge a right angle without tools. But it's not just your body that has changed. You've risen in the hierarchy, now a full foreman of a faili, responsible for 20 men. The badge of office, a copper arm ring bearing the cartouche kufu gleams on your bicep. You wear it with pride that would seem strange to your village self. The pyramid has risen to magnificent height over 300 feet now, Moritan 2/3 complete. The engineering challenges have evolved with the height. The ramps have been rebuilt multiple times, now spiraling around the pyramid itself, in a design that future scholars will debate endlessly. You've become a teacher, passing on the knowledge Amenhotep and others gave you. Young workers arrive regularly, their eyes wide with the same awe you once felt. You remember Amenhotep's patience and try to emulate it. The stone is your partner, not your enemy. You tell a young mason named Senusret, guiding his hands on the chisel. Feel its rhythm. Every stone has one. Find it, and the work becomes a dance. You've mastered techniques you couldn't have imagined. The art of splitting granite with fire, and water heating the stone with torches, then shocking it with cold water to create controlled fractures. The mathematics of the sacred proportions, understanding why certain angles and ratios create stability and beauty. The logistics of moving stones that seem impossible to move, knowing exactly how many men, how much water, what angle of ramp. Your family has visited twice, making the journey during festival times. Your mother wept when she saw you, tears of joy and pride. Your father, ever reserved, simply nodded, but his eyes spoke volumes. Nabat, now a young woman, brought news of marriages and births, the village life continuing in your absence. "You look like a lord," she said, touching the copper ring on your arm. "The whole village speaks of you. Meni who builds the eternal dwelling. You've sent money home regularly. Your wages are indeed generous. Your family has purchased additional land, built a larger house. When you return, you'll be a man of substance. But increasingly, you wonder if you'll want to return. The pyramid has become your life, your purpose. The workers' village has evolved to what started as temporary housing has become a permanent town. Gardens have been planted. A school has been established for the children of workers who brought families. There's even a small temple where you can make offerings to the gods. You've made friendships that transcend the work. Thutmose is now married to a baker's daughter from the village. Their son, barely walking, is named Kufua, common choice among the workers' children. Sembi leads his own Faili now, his booming laugh still echoing across the plateau. Yonipuki has become a master mathematician, calculating loads and angles with mystical precision. But it's the pyramid itself that dominates everything. It's no longer just a construction project, but a living thing, growing daily, reaching ever. You know every course, remember placing specific stones, can point to exact spots and say, "I built that." The king's chamber is complete now, a masterpiece of engineering. The granite beams of the ceiling, each weighing dozens of tons, fit so perfectly that they seem to be a single piece of stone. The sarcophagus is already in plessolid granite, polished to mere brightness, waiting for its eternal occupant. It's engineering that won't be understood again for millennia. In those chambers, workers have left their marks not officially sanctioned, but traditional, simple hieroglyphs stating, "The friends of Khufu were here," or "Meni of Dair el-Madina built this." These marks won't be seen again until explorers breach the pyramid in the distant future, but they're important to you. They're proof, written in stone, that individuals built this monument. Not faceless slaves, but men with names and homes and pride. 7 years, the pyramid nears completion, its peak reaching over 450 feet into the sky. You stand on the working platform near the summit, and the view steals your breath even now. The entire world spreads below you, the green ribbon of the Nile Valley, the endless golden desert, the distant mountains. You can see the curvature of the earth itself. The work here is different. The stones are smaller by necessity. They must be carried up by hand now, the ramps unable to reach these heights efficiently. But the precision required is even greater. These final courses will determine the pyramid's perfect point, the apex that will bear the golden pyramid. You've been selected for the honor of working on these final stages. Of the thousands who began this project, only a few dozen are trusted with this ultimate task. Your hands, scarred and powerful, carefully position each stone. Some are small enough for 2 men to carry, but each must be placed with the same precision as the massive foundation blocks. The mathematics here are precise beyond belief. Ipuki, now the chief mathematician for the upper works, calculates angles that must be accurate to fractions of a degree. The 4 faces of the pyramid must meet at a perfect point. Any error, even minute, will be magnified at the peak. "We're not just building," Ipuki says one evening, as you share beer on the platform, watching the sunset. "We're proving that humans can achieve perfection, that with will and knowledge and faith, we can create something divine." The working conditions at this height are treacherous. The wind, barely noticeable at ground level, becomes a constant force up here. One strong gust can send a man tumbling to his death. Safety ropes are mandatory now, something that would have seemed cowardly in the early years but is recognized as necessary wisdom. You've lost more friends over the years. Sembi fell 2 years ago, a rope that seemed sound snapping under his weight. His body was recovered, mummified, buried with full honors. His widow and children receive a pension from the Workers' Fund. His name is carved on a stela in the Workers' Cemetery. But for everyone who has fallen, dozens have risen. Young workers have become master craftsmen. Boys have become men. The pyramid has been a forge, transforming not just stone, but human lives. The day arrives with the fanfare it deserves. The Pyramidianta Capstone has been completed. It's a perfect pyramid itself, carved from a single block of granite and covered in an alloy of gold and silver that blazes like captured sunlight. The entire workforce has gathered. Even those injured, those retired from active work, have come to witness this moment. Kenti is there on his crutch, his eyes bright with pride. Thutmose stands with his family, his son on his shoulders. Your own family has made the journey for this historic moment. Your father, gray now, but still strong. Your mother, Nebat with her new husband. The pharaoh himself is present, Khufu, the living god for whom this monument has risen. He's older than you expected, his face marked by years of rule, but his bearing remains divine. He stands on a specially constructed platform, surrounded by priests and nobles, but his eyes are on the pyramid, his eternal dwelling. The pyramidion sits on a wooden platform at the base of the pyramid. It'll be raised by a combination of ramps, levers, and human will. You're part of the elite team that will accomplish this final feat. Haminu addresses the assembled thousands. 7 years ago, we began with a dream and a flat plateau. Today, we complete the greatest structure ever built by human hands. This is not my achievement, not even the pharaohs alone. This is Egypt's achievement. Every man who lifted a stone, every woman who baked bread for the workers, every child born in the workers' village all are part of this eternal monument. The raising begins. The pyramidion, despite being the smallest stone relative to the others, still weighs over 2 tons. But it's not the weight that makes this challenging. It's the precision required and the symbolic importance. This cannot fail. You're on one of the guide ropes, helping control the stone ascent asset S raised by a specially constructed crane at the pyramid's peak. The rope burns your palms, despite the years of calluses. Sweat stings your eyes, but you don't falter. Inchy be inch. The pyramidion risen. The crowd below has fallen silent. The only sounds are the creaking of wood, the commands of the foreman, and the wind that threatens to turn the suspended stone into a deadly pendulum. Hours pass. The sun reaches its zenith, and the electrum covering blazes so brightly it hurts to look upon. It seems like a piece of the sun itself is ascending to its rightful place. Finally, after what feels like a lifetime, the pyramidion reaches the apex. Now comes the most delicate part, lowering it onto the perfectly prepared platform at the peak. You and 3 other master masons guideth, with bronze bars making microscopic adjustments. Left, the width of a hair, Yuki. Kaluk, forward, just a breath. And then, with a grinding sound that seems to come from the earth itself, the pyramidion settles into place. Perfect. The pyramid is complete. The cheer that erupts can probably be heard in Memphis. Thousands of voices raised in triumph. 7 years of labor, of sacrifice, of dreams made stone, culminated in this moment. The pharaoh raises his arms, and silence falls. Let it be known throughout the 2 lands and for all eternity. His voice carries across the plateau that Egypt has built the eternal dwelling, that free Egyptians, working with willing hands and faithful hearts, have created what will stand until the end of time itself. Each of you has achieved immortality. When the world forgets the names of kings, this pyramid will stand, and your work will speak for you. That night, Giza transforms into the greatest celebration Egypt has ever seen. The pharaoh has declared a feast for all workers. Cattle are slaughtered by the hundreds. Beer flows like the Nile flood. Music fills the air, drums, flutes, sistrums, creating a rhythm that seems to make the pyramid itself pulse with life. You sit with your phili, your family, your friends of 7 years. The boundaries between nobility and workers blurred in the shared euphoria. You see Haminu, himself, dancing with a group of masons, his usual dignity, abandon and joy. Your father sits beside you, his eyes fixed on the completed pyramid, now glowing in the light of 1,000 torches. I was wrong to doubt, he says quietly. I thought I was losing a son to a pharaoh's vanity. Instead, you've become part of something eternal. I'm proud of you, my son. Stories are shared, memories of the years of construction. The Taima sandstorm nearly buried the entire workers' village. The day a block slipped and miraculously hurt no one, seen as a sign of divine protection. The birth of the first baby in the workers' village, named Kufa-Tep Kufu, is satisfied. Thutmose raises his beer jar. To those who fell, he shouts, and thousands echo the toast. To Omen, to Senbi, to all who gave their lives for eternity. To those who fell, the response thunders across the plateau. An old worker stands, his voice carrying surprising strength. I want the world to know, he declares. Let any man who says slaves built this pyramid come here and say it to our faces. We are free Egyptians. We chose this work. We bled for it, died for it, triumphed in it. We are the pyramid builders, and our names are written in stone. The celebration continues until dawn, when the first rays of sun strike the golden pyramidion, making it blaze like a beacon visible for miles. Even exhausted, even drunk on beer and triumph, the workers pause to watch this sight. The pyramid catches the light and seems to channel it to heaven, a bridge between earth and sky, exactly as intended. Home for 7 years, packing your possessions, your tools, worn but still functional, wrapped in leather, the copper arm ring that marks you as a foreman, which you're entitled to keep, a papyrus scroll, signed by Himuno himself, testifying to your service and skill. This document will open doors for the rest of your life. But there's also what you can't pack: the knowledge, the experience, the transformation from village mason to master builder. You know secrets of engineering that will make kings of lesser men. You are packing in the dormitory room that has been your home for 7 years, preparing for the journey south. Your personal tools, worn but still functional, are wrapped carefully in leather. They feel like old friends. The copper arm ring that marks you as a foreman, a symbol of your journey from apprentice to leader, you are entitled to keep. And there is a papyrus scroll, sealed with the insignia of Himuno himself, testifying to your years of skilled service. This document will open doors for the rest of your life. But there is so much you cannot pack: the camaraderie forged in shared labor, the memory of the sun rising over the growing monument, the quiet pride of a perfectly set stone. You are leaving a part of your your life force, here in this place. Thutmose enters the room, his own bag already packed. His son is with him, a small boy who looks at you with wide eyes. So, you return to the south? Thutmose, Azix's voice thick with emotion. For now, you reply, my family awaits. They won't recognize the boy who left, he says, clapping you on the shoulder. You leave a foreman, a master builder, a legend. You say your farewells to Maruka, to Kenti, to the hundreds of men who have become your brothers. The departure is the reverse of your arrival, no. Grand welcome, but a quiet, respectful procession to the harbor. A journey marked by handshakes and promises to remember. As your boat pushes off into the current of the Nile, you look back one last time. The pyramid stands complete, its golden capstone catching the morning light, a beacon of impossible achievement. It is no longer a construction site. It is a god on the horizon. It stands as the last wonder of the ancient world, a monument so perfect, so colossal, that legends were woven around it. It was said to be built by giants, or visitors from the stars, or by the crushing might of 1,000,000 slaves. But the truth is far more human and far more impressive. To truly know that truth, you must live it. So come, travel back 4,500 years. You are not a slave. You are an Egyptian. And this is the greatest work of your life. The sun rises over the Nile, painting the river gold. You wake to the sound of your mother grinding grain in the courtyard, the rhythmic scrape of stone against stone, as familiar as your own heartbeat. Your name is Meni, and you are 23 years old. Your hands already bear the calluses of your tread. You are a stonemason, like your father before you, and his father before him. You rise from your reed mat, the packed earth floor cooled beneath your feet, despite the growing heat of the day. Through the small window of your mud brick home, you can see the great river, swollen with the annual flood. The fields lie beneath its nurturing waters, and this is the season when farmers become builders, when the rhythm of Egyptian life shifts from cultivation to construction. Your younger sister, Nebit, already sits in the doorway, working flax into thread. She glances up at you with knowing eyes. The dreams again. Say, you've been having them for weeks, now dreams of white stone reaching toward the sky, dreams of something monumental, calling to you. You don't answer, but she sees it in your face. Everyone in the village has heard the rumors. The new pharaoh Khufu, he lived forever, has decreed the construction of something unprecedented. Not just another pyramid, but the pyramid, a monument to surpass all monuments, a bridge between earth and sky that will stand until the end of time itself. Your father, Amenhotep, enters from the workshop attached to your home. Stone dust clings to his kilt, and his arms bear the strength of 30 years working limestone and granite. Come, Meni, he says, his voice carrying the authority of a master craftsman. The statue for the temple must be finished today. You follow him into the workshop, where a half-completed statue of Thoth awaits. The god of wisdom stares back at you with eyes you carved yourself, eyes that seem to hold secrets of the ages. Your father watches as you take up your copper chisel and wooden mallet. The first strike rings out, precise and true. The limestone surrenders to your skill, each chip falling away exactly as you intend. You have the gift, your father says quietly, running his weathered hand along the smooth curve of Thoth's arm that you shaped yesterday. Not just the strength, but the sight. You see the god within the stone before you free him. This is no small praise from a man who speaks sparingly. You've spent years learning to read the grain of stone, to feel its weakness and strength, to know where it will yield and where it will resist. You've learned that limestone speaks one language, granite another, and sandstone yet another still. Each has its own song, its own rhythm. Your mother, Sataman, brings bread and beer for the morning meal. The bread is still warm from the oven, and the beer is thick and nutritious, nothing like the thin drink that will be called beer in distant centuries. She watches you both work as she sets down the food. Eat, she commands. A craftsman without strength is like a boat without wind. As you break bread with your family, your Uncle Kenti arrives, his face flushed with excitement. They're coming, he announces. The royal, and they're less than an hour's journey from here. The workshop falls silent. Your father sets down his tools slowly, deliberately. Your mother's hands pause in their constant motion. Even little Nebet stops her spinning.
For this,
So
you
it's
have
true
to come
then,
to this
your
website
father
and
says.
download this plugin.
It's not
you
a
will
question.
find the link in the
Petamin,
description below.
Kenti confirms.
You have to download and
They
install
seek
this
workers,
plugin.
skilled workers.
So double-click on it and this
The
plugin will
proclamation
run with
says
your
the pharaoh
OBS.
calls upon the strength and
So
devotion
first
of
close
Egypt
OBS
itself.
and install this plugin
feel
inside
something shift in
OBS
your
by
chest,
double-clicking.
like a door
Okay,
opening
so
to
it
a
gets
room you
installed
didn't know
quickly.
existed.
Click on
The
next,
dreams
next,
suddenly
and
make
it has
sense.
been installed.
This is what has been calling to you. Your father sees it in your eyes before you speak. You mean to go, he says. If they will have me, you reply. Your mother's face tightens, but she says nothing. She knows, as all Egyptian mothers know, that when the pharaoh calls, Egypt answers. This is not slavery, this is duty, honor, and something more. This is a chance to touch eternity. The entire village gathers in the central square. The royal envoy stands upon a raised platform. His fine linen kilt is stark contrast to the rougher cloth of the villagers. Yet there is no contempt in his bearing. He looks upon the assembled crowd with respect, for he knows he stands before the true strength of Egypt, its craftsmen, its farmers, its builders. Behind him, scribes hold papyrus scrolls, and soldiers stand at attention not to intimidate, but to emphasize the importance of this moment. The envoy raises his arms, and silence falls like a curtain. People of Deir el-Madina, he calls out, his voice carrying across the square. I bring word from the good god Khufu. May he live forever. The great house has decreed the construction of his eternal dwelling place, a pyramid that shall touch the very belly of Nut herself, the sky goddess who swallows the sun each evening and bursts at each dawn. A murmur runs through the crowd. You stand with your family, feeling Nebet's small hand slip into yours. This is not a command of forced servitude, the envoy continues. And you notice how he emphasizes these words. The pharaoh calls upon the skilled hands and willing hearts of his people. Those who answer this call shall be well. You will receive daily rations of bread, beer, onions, and garlic, meat and fish on festival days. Your families will receive a portion of grain in your absence, and those who distinguish themselves in this sacred work shall receive land grants upon the pyramid's completion. The crowd stirs with interest. Now, these are not the terms offered to slaves, but to valued workers. We seek stonemasons and quarry workers, the envoy announces, his eyes scanning the crowd. We seek those who know the songs of copper and bronze, who can read the will of limestone and granite. We seek engineers who understand the sacred mathematics, carpenters who can shape Lebanon's mighty cedars, and physicians to tend to the workers' health. Your father steps forward. And what of the danger? He asks, his voice carrying the weight of paternal concern. What provisions for those who are injured in service to the pharaoh? The envoy nods respectfully. The pharaoh has decreed that a village shall be built at Giza for the workers, with physicians and healing priests in residence. Those injured in the sacred work shall receive care. Those who die may the gods prevented shall be buried with honor in the shadow of the pyramid itself, their names recorded for eternity. A collective gasp runs through the crowd. To be buried near the pharaoh's pyramid, this is an honor beyond imagining. This is the promise of an afterlife, blessed by proximity to divinity itself. The work begins with the end of the inundation. The envoy continues. Those who wish to serve should present themselves to the scribes. Your skills will be assessed, your names recorded. In 7 days, boats will arrive to carry the chosen workers north to Giza. The formal proclamation ends, and the crowd disperses into excited clusters. Families debate, young men boast of their strength, and the village elders share memories of their own youth when they helped to build monuments. Now ancient, you approach the scribe's table with your father. The chief scribe, an elderly man with intelligent eyes, looks you over. Your name and trade. I am Meni, son of Amenhotep. I am a stonemason. Your
Okay,
age,
as soon as it is installed, you have to
23
come to the desktop and you will see an icon
of the Nile. The scribe makes
Streamlabs
notations on his
live.
book. Can you read
You have
the
to click
sacred
on it and
measurements?
open it.
Your
So
father speaks
maximize
for
it.
you. He can read numbers and perform calculations. I have taught him the sacred proportions. Show me your hands, the scribe commands. You extend your hands, palms up. The scribe examines the calluses, the small scars from years of chip strikes, the strength in your
And
fingers.
install this plugin
He
inside
nods
OBS by
approvingly.
double-clicking.
These are the hands of a true
Okay,
craftsman,
so it gets installed
not a
quickly.
field
Click
worker
on
claiming
next,
false
next,
skill.
next, and
You
it has been
understand that this
installed.
work will be harder than
Okay,
anything
as
you
soon
have
as it
known.
is installed,
The stones
you
of
have
the
to come to the
pyramid will
desktop
dwarf
and you
even
will
the
see an
largest
icon of
blocks you have moved
Streamlabs
in your
as live.
village. I understand.
You have to click
you
on it and
reply.
open it.
Though in truth,
So
you
maximize
cannot
it.
yet imagine the
So
scale
the
of what
first thing
awaits you.
here is to
Very
connect
well.
your YouTube channel.
Report to the river
On
landing
whichever
at dawn,
channel you
7
want to
days
stream, or
hence.
you will have
Bring
to
your
connect
tools
one
if you
channel.
have them. They will be marked with your name.
So you guys
The
have to
journey
click on
Giza
this and I will
take
connect the
4
channel
days
that I have
by
here.
boat. He hands you
So
a
let's
small
click on
clay
this.
token marked with hieroglyphs.
Our YouTube channel
This
is
your
a
worker's
testing
seal.
channel.
Guard
I have
it well.
connected it here. You guys
As
can
you walk
connect your
home,
channel. What
the
will
token
happen with
feels
that?
warm
You
in
guys
your
will be
hand,
able to do live
as if it
stream
carries
very
the heat of
easily.
the
So
destiny
what
it
is the first
represents.
thing you guys
Your
have to
mother
do?
has
All
tears
the
in her
extra
eyes when you
features
show
that are
it to
seen
her,
here have to
but
be
they are
closed
tears of pride
because
as much
we
as
do
sorrow.
not.
My son will build the eternal dwelling of a god, she whispers, touching the token reverently. That night, your family hosts a feast with what provisions they can spare. Uncle Kenty brings a goose, a luxury reserved for special occasions. Your aunt contributes state wine. The entire extended family gathers, and stories are told of ancestors
Like once
who
the
worked on
activity feed is
pyramids
done,
of Sneferu,
then we close
Khufu's
it.
father.
Apart from that,
Your
if we have to read
grandfather,
YouTube chat,
ancient
we close
and
that too
bent
here.
but still
If we have
sharp
to
of
read
mind,
TikTok chat, we
takes your
close that
face
too.
in his
We don't need
papyrus
multi-chat
hands.
either. So
You
we
carry
close
the
this
care of
too.
our family
Apart from
with
that,
you,
there is
he
a
says.
control panel here. We
Build
close
well,
this too. So
grandson.
what is the first
Build
thing you
for
guys
all
have
of
to
us.
do?
The
We have
morning
to
of
go to our
departure arrives
YouTube
with
and
a
make the
mist
keys
rising
ready to
from the
run the
Nile.
stream. So we
You
go to
stand
our
at the river's
YouTube
edge with
channel.
nearly
Let's
40
click on
other men
schedule
from your
stream.
village
You guys
and
have to look at
surrounding
this part
settlements.
carefully.
Some,
Here you guys have to
like
give the
you,
name of the
are
stream.
young
I am
and
giving
eager.
it number
Others
wise.
are master
Stream 1
craftsmen
and here
in
you
their
guys
prime,
know how to put the
seeking the
description,
prestige
etc.
and rewards of
So
royal
I'm not
service.
going to tell
A
all
few
that.
are
We
older
will go
men,
above
perhaps
customize.
taking
After
one
doing
last
these
great
settings,
commission
etc.,
before
you guys
age
can make
claims
it
their
public or
strength.
unlisted.
Your family
Okay, I'm
stands
making it
behind you.
unlisted right now.
Your mother presses a small amulet into your hand, a Jed PR symbol of Osiris's spine, representing stability and endurance. May Osiris protect you, she murmurs. Your
So
father
what to do
grips
from
your
here?
shoulder,
We have to generate a
saying
stream
nothing,
key. That too
but
a
his eyes
custom
speak
stream
volumes.
key. Let me show
Never
you how
throws
to
her
do
arms
it.
around your waist,
And you will go
and you
here
have
and
to
click
gently
on
pry her
create new
away.
stream
The
key.
boats arrive as the
Here we
sun
will name it
burns away
stream
the
1
mist.
and it's which
They
we
are
will
not
find
slave
here.
galleys
We
with
have to
chains
enable
and
auto
whips,
start.
but well-appointed
Here you
transport
guys,
vessels with
and after that
canopies
you
for
guys
shade
have
and
to
space
copy
for
the
men to
key
move
which
about.
you will find
The
here.
boatmaster,
Go back
a
here,
sun-weathered
click
man
on the
named
plus
Kim
icon.
Wasset,
Click on
greets
custom
each worker by
RTMP.
name
Now
as
we
they
have to
board.
give it a name,
Welcome, Russ.
so we will name it
He
stream
calls
1.
out.
Only
sail
then we will
now
know
not
that
as
this stream
subjects,
key is for
but
us.
as the
So
chosen
we will
hands of
paste the
Egypt.
stream key here.
The
This
gods
is our stream
themselves
key,
watch
and
our
I will
journey.
also make
You
you
find a
check it here.
spot
So
near
this
the
is the
prow.
stream key.
Your tool
After
bag
that we will
beside you.
copy the
Inside are
URL
your
and bring it
personal
here and
chisels,
paste it.
inherited from your father.
Click on custom
Their
output and
handles
your
worn
output will be
smooth
added
by
here.
generations
So by
of hands.
default it
A
remains
young
on the
man sits
default
beside you.
canvas. So we will
Nervous
prepare a new
energy
canvas for
radiating
this.
from him
Click
like
on
heat
create
from
new
sun-baked
canvas.
stone. I'm Thutmose,
Here we will also name
he
it
says.
Stream 1.
From the
Because
village
all
of
these
Sarat.
settings we are doing,
I work
we are
in the
doing it
quarries
for
there.
Stream 1. Resolution
Meni,
1080p
you
Full
reply.
HD, and here we
Stonemason,
will have a
from
new
Deir el
canvas.
Medina.
So we can
As
set
the
up
boat
it anywhere
pushes
on
off
the
from the
screen.
shore,
So let's do it
you
here,
turn for
okay?
one last
So
look
this
at
is
your
our main
family.
part.
They
Now in
stand
this
there,
way we have to set
growing
up more
smaller,
canvases. You
your
can set
mother's white dress, visible long after other details fade. Then a bend in the river takes them from view, and your old life officially ends. The journey north is a revelation. You have never traveled
up as
more
many
than a day's walk
canvases
from
here
your
as you
village,
want to do live
and now the
streaming.
entire heart
Let's
of
go
Egypt
back.
unfolds
Let me
before
fast
you.
forward
You
this.
pass
Because I
temples that
already
scrape
told
the
you
sky.
how to set up the
Their
stream key
pillars
here.
painted in blues and golds
So
that
right
hurt to
now
look
I am doing
upon
it
in the
for
direct
Stream
sun.
2 IE
You see
second
cities
stream.
with populations
Okay?
that dwarf your entire
So after
district.
going here
Their
we will
docks
name it
bustling
Stream
with
2
trade
and
from
we will
lands you've
enable
only
auto
heard
start.
mentioned in stories.
So
The
here
boat
our
stops
second
each
stream key
evening
is
at
also
designated
ready.
waypoints.
Let's go
The crew
back.
prepares
Click on the
generous
plus
meals
icon.
apparently. The good treatment begins
Click
immediately.
on custom
You eat better
RTMP
on
and
this
name it
journey
here we will
than you
Stream
often
2
did at
sorry
home.
here we will
Fresh
paste the
bread,
stream key
beer,
and name it
dried
Stream Key
fish,
2. I am just giving this
onions,
name so
and
that we
garlic.
know
On
which
the
stream
second
key
night,
we are using
there's
for
even
what.
beef, a meat you've tasted perhaps
So with
3
Stream
times in
2
your
we will
life.
know that
An older
everywhere we are
craftsman
using
named
the same
Meni
things as Stream
whose
2.
arms bear the scars of
Click on
decades.
Add Custom Output and within a
Working
few
stone
seconds it will
sits
be
with your group
automatically
during
added
meals.
here.
He has worked on
So
royal
see it has
projects
come
before.
here. So
Though
let
none
me
of this
move it a
skill,
little up
let me
so that
tell
we
you a
can see
truth.
all the outputs here.
Young ones,
Okay,
he says.
so we will click
His
on it and
voice
go above
carrying
the
the authority
canvas.
of
Now for this
experience.
we will
What
create
we
a
go
new
to build
canvas.
is beyond
Normally you can do
comprehension.
full HD,
I
but
helped
if you
complete
want,
the red
you can do it
pyramid
for
for the
shots also
pharaoh's
from here.
father.
So I am naming it
I
Stream
thought that I
2.
had seen
And
the
here if you
limits
want
of
to do it
human
for
ambition,
shorts, you
but
will
the
click
plans
on
for
it. You can
Khufu.
also do it in 4K if
Pyramid,
you want,
dot,
but
dot,
right now
dot.
we are doing it in
He
shorts.
shakes his head.
So
They say
1080p
it will
verticals,
reach
you have to click on
480
it
feet
and
into
click
the
on the
sky.
ad. So what
Do you
will happen to
understand?
you now?
Taller
A
than
vertical
40 houses
canvas will
stacked
appear
upon
here.
each other.
So see it has appeared.
Thutmose
We adjusted on the
laughs
screen. Now
nervously.
apart from this,
Surely you
suppose you want to
exaggerate,
do
uncle.
3 streams. Then let's make
Amenemhet's
one more
eyes
stream ready. The
remain
same method
serious.
is followed.
If
Here
anything,
you have to write
I
Stream 3.
understate.
And I
But
had
here's
told
what
you
you
this
must
thing
understand.
earlier. So that's why I'm fast
We do not
forwarding it
go
and
as
removing
slaves to
it.
die beneath
Rest of
the
you guys
lash.
should know how I have done
We go
things
as the
here.
select of
Okay?
Egypt.
So let's
Every
click on
stone we
Stream 3.
place
And auto
is a
start
prayer.
should always
Every
be
cut we
enabled. It
make
should
is
never
an
be
offering.
turned off.
We are
Copied
not
the
building
stream
a
key.
tomb.
Went to
We are
add
building a
custom
machine
output.
of
Pasted
eternal
the
life
stream
for the
key
God.
here.
Through
Pasted
him,
the URL.
all of
Then we
Egypt
have to
achieves
name it
immortality.
Stream 3.
On
So
the
we
third
named
night,
it Stream
you
3
cannot
and
see.
added the
You
custom
stand
output.
at the boat's edge, watching the stars reflected in the Nile's black water. The river here is wider than you've ever seen it, mighty and eternal. Another worker, a carpenter named Semaphore, joins you. Nervous? He asks. Excited, you reply, though it's both. My grandfather told me that to work on a pyramid is to have your ka, your life force, joined forever with the pharaohs. That our spirits will help pull his solar bark through the underworld each night. Semaphore nods. My father said similar. He said that slaves build nothing that lasts.
We will
because
also
they have
prepare
no
its
love for their
canvas.
work.
So we will go to Stream
But
3
we,
here and we'll
dot,
keep it
dot,
in full
we build
HD.
with our hearts
Now we
as
will
much
adjust it on
as
the
our
screen.
hands.
Let's
That's
do
why the
something like
pyramids
this.
are eternal.
We will keep
On
it
the
number
fourth day,
wise. So
as the
Stream
sun
1
reaches
came.
its zenith,
After that we will keep Stream
someone
2 in the
shouts
middle.
from the prow.
Then Stream 3 and
There,
in the last we have a
Giza.
blank canvas.
You rush
Okay?
forward
So
with
this
the
is all the
others,
work we have to
and your
do.
breath
After that you
catches in
guys
your
have to
throat.
add videos.
Nothing, no
Inside
story,
every canvas
no
you guys
dream,
can add your separate
no
videos.
imagination
You will
could
click
have
here.
prepared
You will
for this
click on
moment.
add source.
The Giza plateau
You guys
rises
have to
from the
click on
desert
media
like a
source.
mountain carved by
I
the
will
gods
tell you one.
themselves.
You guys
But
can
it
do
is
the other
not
two
the natural
yourself.
limestone
Okay?
outcrop
So you
that
will go
steals your
here.
breath.
You guys
It
have
is
to
what
click on
humans
media
have
source
begun
and
to
then
create
click on
upon
add
it.
source.
The foundation
Browse
of
your
the pyramid
video
spreads across the plateau
and
like
enable
a
loop
geometric
here
lake of
and
white
click OK.
limestone.
So your video
So
is
vast
ready. And in
that
this
its
way
far
I
edges
added more
blur
videos at
in
both the
desert
places
haze.
because
The
the video
precision
will
of it
become
hurts your
very
mind.
long if I
Perfect
explain the
right
whole
angles,
detail.
stretching
Now Now what
for
will
nearly
happen is that
1,000
these three
feet on each
streams are
side.
running on our channel,
Already,
so the audio
the
of all
first
three will
courses
get
of stone
mixed.
are
So
in
we will
place.
have to separate the
And even
audio.
these
To
lower
separate
levels
the
dwarf
audio,
anything
we
you've
will have
seen.
to set their
But it's the
channels,
activity
because
that
we will
truly
keep stream
overwhelms.
1 on one channel,
Thousands upon
stream
thousands
2
of
on
men
2 channels.
move across the plateau like ants upon a hill. But these ants are organized into a divine machinery of purpose. Ramps of mud, brick, and rubble spiral up from the desert floor. Teams of men haul sledges bearing
Stream 3
stone
on 3
blocks that must weigh as much as your entire house. The sound
channel.
reaches
So
you
how to set up the
across
channel?
the water
First of all, I will turn
rhythmic
off
chanting,
both of these so that
the
I
ring
know
of
which
tools
one
on
is running
stone,
for
the creak of rope and wood, all blending into a symphony of creation. Gods of Egypt, Thutmose, breathes beside you. His face has gone pale. Now you understand, Amenemheb says quietly. We do not go to build a
So
pyramid.
here you will go to advanced
We
property.
go to build a pyramid.
So here you have to
the one
turn
that
off
will
all the
stand
tracks except
when
the
all others
first
have
track.
returned to sand.
Okay?
As your
After
boat
that we will
approaches the
close it.
harbor, You
now
see
you
that
will
an
go here
entire
and
city
after
has
opening
sprouted
it,
in the
now
pyramid's
whatever
shadow.
track we will
Not a
keep,
ramshackle
we will
camp
keep
of
it as
tents and
2.
misery,
So,
but a
except for
planned
2,
settlement
we will
with
close
straight
all the other
streets
tracks
and
here.
solid
Let's
buildings.
close the one of 1 minute 3
Smoke
as well.
rises from what
Okay,
must be
so
massive
now it's 2 is
kitchens.
done.
The smell
Now we
of
will
baking
keep it on
bread
3,
reaches you,
meaning
even
we will
here
give
on
it
the
different
water.
channels so
The
that only
docking
different
area
audios are
bustles with
broadcasted.
organized
What will happen
efficiency.
otherwise? There
Scribes
will be
with their
distortion.
papyrus
Everything
and
will
reed
get
pens.
mixed up in the audio.
Record
Okay,
every
so
arrival.
we have set up these
Overseers
3
not
channels
with whips,
separately. So
but
now
with
what will we
measuring
do
rods
here?
and
We will
building
have to
plans
do it
direct
setting
new
for the stream
arrivals
as well.
to different
So
areas.
we will
You
go
see
to
no
settings
chains,
here.
no guards forcing men to
And
work.
what did you keep here
Instead,
inside stream
you see
1?
purpose,
One track.
organization,
So we will
and
click
something
here
that
and keep
looks
track 1.
remarkably
After
like
that,
pride on
we
the
will
faces
save it.
of the
In this way,
workers.
we
A
will
tall
go inside
overseer
stream
with
2.
kind eyes
What will we keep
approaches
here?
your group
Track
as you
2.
disembark.
So we will keep it
Welcome,
above track 2
brothers.
and save it.
I am
At the
Meni,
bottom, we will
chief
go
of
to stream
chiefs,
3. So
architect
after
of the
going
eternal
here,
dwelling.
you guys have to click on
Your
stream
group
as
gasps.
OBS and
This is the pharaoh's own nephew, the master architect himself. Yet he greets you as brothers, not as slaves. You arrive at a glorious time, he continues. We have completed the foundation and the underground chambers.